What's going on, guys? It's your boy Az. We are back here with another one, and before we begin today, I just want to wish everyone a happy New Year's, and hopefully you guys were able to get some needed rest with your family, and hopefully we can start off this new year on a high note. Now we've got some exciting new Blitz characters going on right now. We've got Obsidian right now in the current Blitz, and of course we got Yelena coming as well in the Thursday Blitz, and of course we've also got that red winter event that's also going to be coming up here, and it looks like blitzing is going to be a key component of that as well, just like the Mojo winter event as well. So I mean, yeah, it's important. So right now, hopefully we'll talk today about how to blitz smarter and better, and hopefully helps you guys out in terms of getting higher rankings in the days to come. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And I mean, first and foremost, the most important thing is being level 60. That's going to have that auto sim feature unlocked for you guys, and that's going to help you guys speed through blitz matches super duper fast. And unfortunately, if you guys aren't level 60, that kind of sucks. But you know, be patient. You guys will get there, and we've all been there at some point, so we know the feeling. And unfortunately, yeah, you'll just have to stick with the old school method of blitzing until you're level 60. Anyways, let's get back onto our discussion here. And first and foremost, the most important thing is your total collection power. That's going to correspond to how high you can rank, because the bigger the teams, the more teams you have, that it only makes sense that you're going to get more points. So that makes sense. And from what I've seen that people have been able to consistently hit about 3 or 4 times their collection power in blitz points. So usually that's a pretty fair estimate. I'm closer to about 4 times, just because I'm very strategic with the way I blitz, and of course hopefully my tips and tricks will help you guys out today. And of course we also have to bring out the fact that before we even begin, I mean, shout out to Casino and in Liverpool, and Joho and Trowa, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing those names right, but every week they have these blitz predictions, and it gives players a really good idea of what to expect, where the cutoffs are. And I mean, outside of the new updates and the auto sim getting introduced, these predictions are usually fairly accurate. And of course they're not always 100% right down to the number, but of course it's a rough estimate, and it gives you guys an idea. And I'll have the link in the description, so that way you guys can have access to it as well. But yeah, it's a great way to kind of just see where you're at, and of course to figure out how high you can blitz. What I recommend you guys doing is running your teams. And I mean, for example, I run a 29 team rotation, and running a couple of those rotations and just figuring out where your minimum and your maximum is. So I've had time over the last few weeks to kind of calculate and figure out where my averages are, and I range anywhere between 1.3 to 1.8 mil. So 1.3 is where I'm usually hitting minimum if I'm losing a lot of battles, and then 1.8 is usually my highest if I win everything. And it gives you an idea, because then you can multiply that specific range by 24, which, I mean, you get 24 from 8 rotations per day, because that's the max number, and then we have 3 days of blitzing, so it gives you an idea. So I mean, 1.4 multiplied by 24, I mean, that's roughly like 34 mil. So it gives you an idea of where you can end up, and then from that point on, you can see, okay, if I'm gonna get around 34 mil, that means, look at there, I'm gonna probably get around 1% of the rewards on Obsidian, then, just based on these predictions. So again, it gives you an idea, and it tells you where the cutoffs are. And I'd say, always be cautious. If you want to be sure you're getting those rewards, always aim a little higher, so that way it gives you some insurance. But yeah, other than that, these predictions are awesome, and trying to figure out what you can get per rotation is important as well, just because it gives you an idea. If I'm getting 1 mil per rotation, or if I'm getting 500k per rotation, it gives you an idea of what your maximum is, and if it's realistic, right? If you can reach the 1% rewards, or the 2 to 3%, or the 4 to 10%, right? But yeah, anyways, that's enough about that. Let's actually jump into some gameplay so you guys can see what I'm doing, and hopefully these tips and strategies will help you guys out. All right, guys. So before we begin here, like I said already, we'll take a look at the last blitzing, and as you guys will see here, if we look at the top 100, I mean, all these guys. Let's see here: 10.5 mil, no boomer / mobile gamer. He's also 12 mil collection power. Mr. Tubby, 10.8 mil, and we're not gonna go through every one of these, but as you guys can see here, you can go through the top 100, and these guys have massive, massive pools of collection power. So obviously that's going to dictate how high they can rank, and of course the higher the collection power you've got, the more teams and so forth, and it's going to make it easier. Right now we're doing the Obsidian Blitz, and of course I'll just quickly go over my team before I jump into some examples. But again, having big comfortable teams that you're confident in. So right now I've got my X-Men and my Symbiotes and my Black Order Asgardians. Those guys are all at the top of my list because I feel those ones always win. I'd say 95% of the time they always win. And then as you go down the list, I have the teams that I'm kind of less confident in, and it's more so because of the fact that I haven't really leveled them across, and it's always good to have them kind of even across the board, so that way it gives them a bit of almost like equality. Almost, I feel like sometimes if you have too much disparity, it throws them off a bit, and it makes the teams really random. So that's kind of why I do that. Putting them the way that I do here. So just kind of having them even across the board. Anyways, let's jump into some actual examples. So first and foremost, you always want to use your refreshes at the 4.0 multiplier. So we're gonna jump in here with an X-Men team, and usually what I do is I'll just go in a random team here because it doesn't really matter. But yeah, you always want to use these 25 refreshes when you're at the 4.0 multiplier, or the highest one, whatever you can get. If your highest is 3.9 or if your highest is 3.8, then make sure you're using these 25 refreshes on the ones that you're the most, the highest tier that you can hit. And of course, we're gonna just move down the list here, and again, we're gonna go in on this team, and hopefully we don't lose. We've got a victory there, and now we're at the highest tier, which is the 8.3 or 4.3, whatever people are calling it. And now I can use these 25 refreshes on this highest tier because that's going to get me the maximum amount of points. So you always want to use your refreshes at 4.0. Next on, let's look for some favorable matchups. So again, if I'm just assuming here that Black Order and Black Order, that's going to have less of a winning chance versus Defenders. So always look for those favorable matchups. So we're going to go in here with Black Order, and they shouldn't lose. I hope not. And again, same thing, Asgardians, we can look for more favorable matchups. And let's just assume for a sec that all these teams are terrible. Like they're terrible against the Asgardians, and they let's just say I'm not feeling really good about any of these teams. Well, as you kind of rotate through similar teams, you're going to run into the same kind of teams. But if you go into if you switch on to a different power level, so let's see here, we're in the 300 range. We're just going to jump into the 200s. This 250 team looks okay. And yeah, let's see here. This one looks okay, and what happens is when you change your power levels from certain tiers like 300 to 250 to 400, it changes who the matchups are. And I mean, again, this was actually a really nice one as well. I hope we don't lose. I'm going to go in here, and again, that was a good matchup. And what I usually do is I'm usually rotating through and looking for these favorable matchups. And again, anything that looks good or juicy or it looks like it's going to be an easy win. See, all these teams kind of look a little iffy with the Brotherhood, so we're just going to rotate back to the 300s and hopefully find something a little more more favorable from our side. So I mean, I think the Fantastic Four is a good team against the Defenders. Hopefully we won't lose. And yeah, we win. So again, rotating through. This takes a little more time. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I think for what you get, you do get a better end result because of the fact that you're guaranteeing your wins, and it helps you guys out, right? It helps you guys get those wins easier. Whoops, what's going on here? I think I just glitched out. Okay, that's odd. Let's go back to Brotherhood because that's what we were using last. But yeah, looking for those favorable matchups, and like I said already here, looking at all these teams. The ones that have the least synergy is going to be wonky, so go for those ones, and that's usually the best way to go for it. And I don't want to give you guys the full boot of my teams here because that's pretty sometimes that can be a waste of time. You guys don't need to be seeing this. Or if you guys are interested on my full rotation, I can go into it in more depthly. But anyways, we'll move on to the next one here. Let's quickly talk about those random teams that you have that are just absolutely crap, and you have no idea what to do with them. And let's just say this team here, I don't really know for a fact that this team's going to get a win, and that's kind of where these god tier characters come in. So I mean, slotting in actually, you know what, I got an example here with Ultron. I have Ultron here all the time because of the fact that he can make any team good. And again, we can rotate through here, and I'd say they're all fairly. Actually, what these ones don't look the best as an example. So you know what? We're gonna go back to this one because this one actually didn't look too bad. And we'll jump in here. Maybe we'll lose. Okay, so we did lose. That's great. That's why I kind of have them as a last end team, so that way they can lose, and then we can go back to Ultron and we can do a reset. So again, this has switched to a better lineup now, and now we can go in with Ultron for an easy win. And of course, now we have some random characters that I have no idea what to do with, and again, we have Ultron there to kind of carry this team. And again, this isn't always going to be pitch perfect, but as you can see here, these are some really crappy teams, and we're going to just go back here to another Ultron team and see if this matchup's better. So these are some random stragglers I have, and again, Ultron pieces the team together really nicely, and then you guys will see there that he gets the win. Now, having said that, it doesn't necessarily need to be Ultron. Once you use it enough times, and as you guys saw there with Ultron, his refreshes do go up, and once it goes up to 10, it's going to go up to 20, and then it's going to go up to 30 and 40 and so forth. So once you can reach that threshold, you can put in some other god tier characters like Phoenix, and again, she only costs 5, but again, it makes for the cost of 5, she'll bring your team basically. She'll bring a win to your team. And I mean, we can look at all these teams, and I mean, we're not gonna go in on Black Order. That's crazy. But if we go in on this one, I can almost guarantee you we're gonna probably get that win because of Phoenix. And again, just being able to use 5 refreshes so that you can use a team is absolutely amazing. And there's other god tier characters as well, like Black Bolt. I've also used Emma Frost as well. She's also really amazing with this particular strategy, and it helps out. It helps out in terms of slotting in those random characters that you don't really know what to do with. And again, like I said, that's kind of where there's really bad matchups. So again, we've got Squirrel Girl here, and there's some really bad matchups, and then we can just switch over and see if Power Armor will do the job, and hopefully we win, and then we can switch back. You can switch back and rotate back, and now this looks like a lot better matchup. And let's go against the Kree here, because usually the Brawlers are pretty good against Kree from what I've seen, and so forth and so forth. And I don't need to be going all that, but yeah. And I mean, it's I wouldn't say this strategy is perfect, but it definitely helps. It does waste a little more time, I will say that, but it helps you guys out because you can figure out where the better matchups are. And unfortunately, you see, I did lose there, so that's fine, because when we do lose, not the end of the world. We can always go back, and some of the easier matchups will come back up because of the fact that the multiplier has reset a little bit, and it helps us out a bit. So again, not really favorable matchups. And I mean, worst case scenario, and this is obviously going to be another one too, but if there's no team and you absolutely have no idea what to do, you know what? Go old school, right? We can go back to the old school way, and that is going in manually and getting us that win. And I know for a fact that this team probably could have won on auto blitz, but we're just going in here as an example. And plus, I don't think it'll be too long of a battle to use as an example. But yeah, we can do it the old school way, which is obviously going in manually, and of course trying to beat them the old-fashioned way, which is fine, because once you get the appropriate abilities in, then yeah, you can pretty much just hit the auto, and it'll do the rest. Like I said, usually with these supernaturals, they're pretty good on their own, and they're usually pretty good on auto sims. But again, we're using it as an example, and worst case, those are the teams that you're absolutely not sure about. You can go in here and you can do it the old manual way, which is the going in and attacking and old schooling it. So we get that win. And that's what I've been doing for mine. It took to guarantee myself maximum amount of wins, but yeah, as you guys can see there, it does add up, and it helps out. And I mean, this is another random team. We're gonna go in here, and if we lose, that's fine. Then we go back up to the teams that I feel a little bit more confident in, and again, we know this one's probably gonna win. And yeah, I mean, I would say anytime you're unsure and you're kind of on that 4.0 cusp, don't go in just randomly, or else you might drop down to 3.9. But yeah, you want to make sure you can be confident with some of the teams that you pick, right? And I think that's pretty much it. We have a few more rotations, but that's fine. I won't run it because I don't want the video too long for you guys. But yeah, so looking for, trying to use those refreshes when you're at 4.0. So we'll go back to Phoenix here, and we can use a refresh and get maximum points because we're at the highest tier. And then also looking for favorable matchups and trying to see what's there. And again, it takes a little bit longer, but just trying to see what's there, right? So trying to see which ones are appropriate and they help you out, and it's easier for winning. I mean, this random synergy teams, that's going to be where it's nice you can use and take advantage of that. And then, of course, last but not least, using those god tier characters like, for example, Ultron, Phoenix, and getting those wins that way as well. Because, yeah, there's going to be a lot of these nomad random characters that have no homes, and you have no idea what to do with them, right? Shield Medic, Night, Night Nurse, and this Aim Infector and Yondu. That's such a random team, but they have a lot of red stars on them, and of course, those are points, right? You don't want to waste those points, and that's why I'm doing that. And yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out, like I said. And then, of course, like I said before, last but not least, I mean, if you can't deal with it the normal way, we can do old school, which is going in manually and turning that sim off. And then, of course, it helps you guys out because I might waste a little more time, but if it gets you that win and it gets you those points, absolutely. So based on my current run here, we didn't do too bad, but again, like I said, calculate how much you can get once you run through your entire rotation. So I've got 29 teams, and like I said already, it ranges from 1.4 to like 1.8 or something like that. I forget the exact number, but it gives me a range, and then I know how much I can hit for those blitz predictions, and then I know if it's realistic or not realistic. All right, guys. So hopefully this has helped you guys out. Hopefully this gives you guys a bit of insight, and hopefully helps you guys out for the next upcoming blitzes. Other than that, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. I've got some more Dark Dimension Essentials coming up this week here, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, guys, I will leave you alone. Take care for now. Like I said, stay safe, and as always, guys, happy gaming.